Cultural Spring's been innovative, creative and heartwarming.
As an overall experience, it's been very uplifting.
It's been a real fantastic partnership and they've really supported us every step of the way.
The Cultural Spring has been a complete joy.
I think for me, a bit of coal lad, I wanted people who lived on the housing estates across South Tyneside and Sunderland to talk about art. People to be engaged and get joy out of creating, about understanding, about commenting on, about forming, about making art in a way that perhaps everybody didn't feel it was for them.
We realised that this was a project where we felt we could make a huge difference in unlocking perhaps some of the relationships between the communities and the sort of arts and culture that could be available. I think the quality and the scope of the projects that we've been involved with at the Cultural Spring have absolutely exceeded our expectations.
You go into these things with a belief and a confidence that you can really change things, and I think we've just had some stunning success. And every time you see an event or you're reading about an event, whether it's a workshop or it's a big thing like the Summer Streets in Thompson Park, you think, wow, this is just growing and growing. You know, there are people from other areas are starting to look at it nationally. Cultural Spring is recognised as beating participation targets. It won an international award just the other week. So it's really exciting and very, very special.
I first got involved with Rush, but then I got involved in all sorts of other things like the photography, textiles, did some glass fusing, and I'm actually still doing the glass fusing at the moment. And eventually we heard that there was another dance project coming up, and that was wordplay. So we're really excited about that, and that brought back all the feelings that we'd had with Rush, and we thoroughly enjoyed every single rehearsal and all the practices right through to the performance. It was brilliant.
Somebody had said to me a year ago that you'll be in a band performing to some full houses in the Edinburgh Festival, and then probably going on tour with them. And I've said you were having a laugh. There was probably more chance of me winning the lottery than that, but that's what's happened. Got involved through the choir at Customs House. The lady there had been involved in some Cultural Spring activity, I think it was last year. Said to us, you know, you really enjoy choir, so you'd really enjoy this next project that's coming up, which was Great Night Out. So start off with a few rehearsals, enjoyable, the crack was good. The more you got into it, the more you kind of embraced it, and the more you got out of it, really.
I heard about it from a friend at work, and I decided to come down. And it's the social thing. I've made quite a few new friends, and also I've got to play like the guitar that I've always wanted to play. You know, I was like 18 when I got my first guitar, and I just never kind of took the time to learn it. But with this coming here, Sam gives you the song to learn, and if you don't practice, you come back the week after and you look a bit daft, don't you? So it kind of pushes you to like practice more and improving your techniques.
We wanted to come to spend some time together and to kind of develop some skills, and for me, pick up an instrument for which is something that I haven't done for a while, and it's been going really well.
I feel like I've improved quite a lot.
Yeah, and I feel like I've gone from nothing to something fairly reasonable in a short period of time. We've been practicing at home as well, and
it's good to kind of like get away from everything else.
Yeah, so
it's in school.
That's right. So it's something different, isn't it? And something to take your mind if you've had a busy day or whatever, to come and get absorbed in the music.
I'm at work all the time, and I don't really get the time to spend time with my daughter. She's always out when I get in from work, and sometimes I'll get in that late and she's in bed. So now we've got our kind of thing, and it's pretty good, you know. We get to spend quality time together.
Ocean Arts, we work with adults with learning disabilities in South Tyneside. We were initially involved with the Cultural Spring from the beginning when we were invited to participate in the Great North Passion. Since then, we've been involved with a number of other projects, including the Street Artists, Bring the Happy, the Inventors, and one or two others since. So we've had quite a big experience working with Cultural Spring and a number of different artists. The opportunities that have been offered to us through the Cultural Spring have not only been unique, they've been very varied, and that has enriched not Ocean Arts, it's enriched the lives of the people that we work for.
I've been a musician in a local band called the Future Heads for nigh on 15 years now, and at the very start of this whole process, the band were kind of part of the application process, and obviously when the bid was successful and the Cultural Spring came into being, I've managed to be able to work on quite a few different projects. Started off with the Great North Passion on a sort of sound installation piece. Summer Street is the sort of festival that I organise in conjunction with the Cultural Spring, and we've done that every year for the past 3 years now, really building some momentum with it. And the other project that I've worked on is the Wildworks Great Night Out. The Cultural Spring have also put me in touch with Annie Rigby, the director of Putting the Band Back Together, which is a show that I've ended up being the MD for, a huge sort of community music project and theatre show. So yeah, I've been involved in a lot of stuff over the last 3 years. I think the work that Cultural Spring are doing is really important because I've never really seen anything quite like it. You know, I think that in Sunderland, which is a city that's, you know, surprisingly renowned for its music, for instance, load of great bands, load of great music, but there are so many more musicians in the communities and on the doorstep of the city centre, you know, and I think that a project like the Cultural Spring, in my experience, has really tapped into that. I think Cultural Spring have been really good at finding individuals who have a great wealth of experience, but also have a feeling of being invested in the community and wanting to do something for the area and sharing those skills. And it's a two-way street, you know. I mean, the amount that I've learned and the sort of skills that I've acquired of working on various Cultural Spring projects, I'm immensely grateful for that.
I'm very positive indeed about the Cultural Spring. I'm very positive from the point of view of a workshop leader, and I'm also very positive from the point of view of being a participant. I think the team work really hard. I think they've got some really good ideas. I think they're also receptive to what people want. So perhaps if they try something and it doesn't work, they just try something else.
Our relationship with Cultural Spring began because I guess personally I can really relate to the aims of NACPP and throughout the UK. I think they're amazing initiatives, and I think it is important that people experience excellent artistic endeavours in local communities. That's a sort of ethos that I can really align with. And in Cultural Spring delivering such a fantastic programme, the motivation was just there to pair up and collaborate on initially the creation of Rush, but then following that to work on wordplay together, because actually it is really important that people have an experience of excellence and a quality experience that will open and change perceptions of art and of cultural engagement.
Inventors was a commission that was awarded to an artist called Dominic Wilcox. That really was about exploring imagination and using invention to catalyse people's imaginations. And from the beginning, my time at Cultural Spring has been a really inspiring one, actually, because it was we were working with a really brilliant artist who is incredibly well known, incredibly accomplished in his own practice, really has a very clear understanding of what he wanted to achieve, and has a great flair for a quality finish. And he brought that to the very heart of Sunderland through an organisation that is absolutely committed to bringing the best of cultural experiences to the communities that they were serving around Sunderland and South Tyneside.
We've been involved as a venue with Cultural Spring for some time now, holding workshops for various art forms. Miss Tina's is a community interest company, and it is a coffee shop primarily for new parents. So that's our sort of target market. So it's people who have young children or babies, and it's a space where they can feel comfortable and relaxed and have a cup of coffee and a slice of cake. But with the Cultural Spring coming in, it's introduced us to a whole new sort of sector, if you like, so the arts and culture. I think what the Cultural Spring are trying to achieve is amazing. I think getting the arts and the culture out into communities is a tough job.
What the Cultural Spring do is they publicise that this event and activity is taking place, and that brings people into the building. They find out where we are, they find out who we are, they enjoy what they do, which is what we want, and they find out a bit more about us as an organisation. They make use of the building and they keep it alive. Rather than sort of like being a dead space, we have, brings on a lot of activities, and there have been a couple of spin-offs on that. The people who've attended these events have then come back and done events of their own. We've had a band who came out of one of the Cultural Spring events, and they hired the rooms out for their band practice at one point. And ultimately, what I think will happen is sort of like these groups will hopefully become self-sustaining interest groups, community groups, places where people can be together. And that's one of the key things, is that people find, a lot of the things that's been said by people who attend these events is that the activity is one thing, it's the coming together and the being together, and what comes from that seems to be the legacy of people within a community doing things together, doing things for each other, doing things for themselves to create that sense of community.
I applied for money from the Research and Development Scheme of Cultural Spring to help my project Letters to Myself. It's a participatory arts and theatre project. It's basically us asking as many people as possible to consider writing a letter to their past, present or future self. The idea is to explore the way that we talk to ourselves, and also just to celebrate the things that we've done in life, and also look back at things that we might regret. Through working with Cultural Spring, we were able to meet lots of different groups and individuals. We got lots of letters written to us for the project, and from that we went into a making process, and we've made a theatre show from the letters that people have given us, and that'll tour across the country in 2017. The whole thing's been really amazing. It's so, like, you as an artist, you have like a seed of an idea, and to have someone take that seriously and help you do it is just a fantastic opportunity.
Back in 2014, I applied for a Research and Development Commission that the Cultural Spring were offering, and it was to make a piece of theatre which involved working with local people as part of the creative process, and it was perfect for putting the band back together, because that was all about trying to explore different people's experiences of playing music and not playing music, and how they felt about having given up, having picked their instruments back up for the first time, and also to test out this idea of, could we really make a show that invited anybody who fancied to have a quick rehearsal, learn the tunes and come and join us on stage. And it went really, really well, and off the back of that we applied for some more commissions through Cultural Spring, and were really delighted to be invited to make the show and premiere it at Summer Streets Festival in Southwick in July 2016. I can't imagine putting the band back together happening without Cultural Spring. I feel like they were the perfect partner because they put us together with some really, really fantastic, generous, funny, brilliant local people who wanted to go on this journey with us.
It's been excellent, and I think it's surpassed everybody's expectations, even our own. During the past 3 years, we've engaged over 25,000 audience members, worked with 150 artists, and engaged thousands in our workshop programme. We're a small team, but I think we've shown what's possible because people in the community really value the chance to get involved with this opportunity of increasing arts engagement. And to round off what has been already a fantastic 3 years, we recently got the news that we've been funded for a further 3 years by the Arts Council, and I think that's indicative of the fact that it's been such a successful programme.
I really believe that arts makes a huge difference in our lives. It's transformational, and we feel that phase 2 will open up a lot more opportunities for more people from different grassroots communities and diverse communities to engage, as well as artists from different genres and different art forms to come together and make a difference to this program. So really, Cultural Spring can play a big part in both Sunderland and South Shields. So I'm really excited about that.
I'm not sure that Sunderland would be bidding to be UK City of Culture in 2021 if it hadn't been for the work of the Cultural Spring. The thing that Cultural Spring has done is galvanised public opinion and created a large constituency of people who live locally who really want to get involved in more and more arts activity locally and are really excited by what arts and culture can do in Sunderland and South Tyneside.
We set ourselves some targets at the start of the programme back in 2014, and we've met those in spades, and that's because people have bought into what we're trying to do with the Cultural Spring to increase arts engagement across areas of Sunderland and South Tyneside. It's fantastic that we've got a further 3 years to build upon the learning that we've got from the past 3 years, and we're really looking forward to getting out there and meeting new people and making the arts relevant for them.